In Pro Skater 4, you can play as Django Fett by typing homie list on the main menu screen. In GTA 5, you can give yourself super jumps with a special combination of buttons, and in Valorant, if you hold Alt and press F4, it will close the game so that you can go and play something else. Cheat codes like this go all the way back to the first video game ever, Computer Space, which would give you an automatic high score of 14 if you launched the game while holding down on the two action buttons. But originally, cheat codes weren't intended for players at all. Instead, they were put in by developers to test certain parts of the game, like in Manic Miner, where you can input the developer's phone number on the title screen, followed by any number 1 through 6 to instantly play that level without having to unlock it, which is probably the least effective way to give somebody your number, but you know, whatever works. And all of these codes pale in comparison to the Konami code. You may know Konami for Metal Gear, Castlevania, Contra, Silent Hill, or Yu-Gi-Oh!, but before all of that, they were known for this little game called Gradius. It's an awesome NES space shooter with a totally killer upgrade system that has one big problem. If you die, you don't get to keep any of your upgrades. No speed ups, no missiles, no force fields, no chug jugs, no nothing. This means that if you die on the final stage, you're gonna have to fight the final boss with a semi-upgraded ship instead of the fully upgraded one you've been playing the game with. Why did they design the game like this? Because f*** you, that's why. Games back then were designed to be as hard as possible to extend the playtime. And it definitely worked because the game's designer, Kazushisa Hashimoto, could barely even beat the game himself. So he added a neat little code that only he knew about. If you press up, up, down, down, left, right, BA start, at any point while playing, your ship instantly becomes fully upgraded. This is the way Hashimoto preferred to play himself, but he knew he couldn't give players this power, otherwise they'd beat the game too quickly. So he decided to remove the code before shipping the game. There was just one problem though. He forgot to remove the fucking code. And so millions of copies of Gradius shipped out with what is now known as the Konami code, spawning a company-wide tradition of adding this little cheat code to every new game's release. Now you might be thinking to yourself, wow, what an idiot, how could he forget to remove this game-breaking cheat code? But I can tell you from personal experience that these things are easy to overlook. While I was developing my 2D platformer, I added a testing feature where I could beat any level in the game instantly just by pressing I on my keyboard. And yeah, I also forgot to remove that. Look man, when you're about to publish a video game, the last thing on your mind is some little debug feature you added in 6 months ago. You've got bigger things to think about. Like, how can I use this game to give people my phone number? The notorious Konami code has now made its appearance in over 100 video games, including pretty much every Konami game ever made, as well as plenty of non-Konami titles. Enter the code in Half-Life 2 for Xbox, and you'll receive a nice hearty 25 HP. Use the code in BioShock Infinite, and you'll start the game in 1999 mode, a super hard version of the game meant to mimic the difficulty of PC games back in the late 90s. Enter the Konami code at an ATM machine, and nothing happens, I checked. But not all cheat codes break the game like this. Sometimes a cheat code actually fixes a game that is fundamentally broken. Take Castlevania 3 for instance. Now I love this game with all my heart and all my body. And I mean all my body. But the lives system is antiquated as shit. Basically, you start each level with 3 lives, and when you die, you lose a life and go back to your most recent checkpoint. Pretty standard, right? But if you lose all of your lives, you have to restart the entire stage. I think there is a very good reason that no modern video game has a feature like this. Sure, a game might make you lose some resources or money or whatever when you die, but reverting back to a previous save is just downright masochistic. However, there is a solution. If, when starting the game, you name your character Help Me, you start the game with 11 lives instead of 3, making the game feel much more fair and forgiving. Does it make me feel like a little baby man whenever I enter the code? Yes. Do I do it every time? Yes. You could also input certain developers' last names as your username to start the game as different characters. Name yourself Fujimoto, for instance, and you start the game as the Quickster Grant with extra high jumps. There are a bunch of other character cheat codes too, but you can't use them at the same time as the Help Me cheat code, so I've never touched them. Mostly developers would divulge these secret codes in gaming magazines or strategy guides, offering an extra bonus for the people who bought them. But other times they'd spread the good word a little bit more creatively, like in Lego Batman, which revealed codes by printing them on the bottom of associated McDonald's Happy Meal toys. There were 8 different codes to match the 8 different toys, including codes that let you play as Bruce Wayne, Nightwing, or this tropical Joker. Little character swap codes like this are great because developers can basically add as many as they want without worrying about breaking the balance of the game. But in terms of sheer size, there is one cheat code that blows all of these out of the water, and it's in the original Spyro games. And yeah, there are some color swap cheat codes and other shenanigans like this big head mode and this flat body cheat code, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about a cheat code that lets you boot up an entirely different game inside of the game you're already playing. If you enter this code in the title screen of Spyro 1, it will boot up a demo for Crash Bandicoot Warped. That'd be like if there was a demo for Silksong inside of Pizza Tower. Spyro 2 and Spyro 3 also have cheat code demos for entirely different Crash games in them, Crash Team Racing and Crash Bash respectively. And what is the cheat code itself? What buttons do you have to press to play these demos? Well, up, up, down, down, left, right, square. That's right, it's a variation on the Konami code. At this point, if your game doesn't have the Konami code in it, that's immediately like minus 25 gamer score. But how can we talk about any cheat codes without talking about Doom? This is the game that keeps boomers awake at night. Well, that and Earthworm Jim. Its most famous cheat code is enabled by typing "It's piss pupped" into the keyboard at any time while playing, which of course stands for id, the game's company, and smashing pumpkins into small piles of putrid debris. That phrase originated from a fan email id received by a player suggesting that they name their next game that to make it harder for people to post annoying forum threads. When you activate the code in-game, it lets you phase through walls so you can access secret areas, and it gives you some really avant-garde visuals. The cheat code is so famous that it even spawned a fan game that very same year. And the gameplay is
Cool cat bad.
Awesome. No clipping is a pretty common cheat in most 3D games now. In Team Fortress 2, if you host a private game with friends, you can type no clip in the developer console to activate the same power that you would in Doom. If you've never had a no clip 1v1 sniper duel, then this is your sign. The last game I published to Steam actually has about a dozen cheat codes in it, which so far nobody has found. So I designed this little cheat code crossword where every word in the puzzle is an actual cheat code in the game. The crossword PDF is at the very top of the description, and if you open it in your browser, you can just mark up on it with the pen tool. Or you could just pause the video here and write on your monitor with Sharpie, whatever works best.